made on them. This memoir is certainly cause for reflection about courage, camaraderie, and the nature of war. In addition to this memoir, Doughty left behind a notebook containing correspondence with editors of the Historical Quarterly and articles he sent them for publication. The publication is put out by the Texas Military Forces Museum in Austin, texasmilitaryforcesmuseum.org, with its strong connection to the 141st Infantry Regiment and the 36th Division as, initially, many of its soldiers were from Texas. The published stories are relatively short and essentially those told in this memoir. The complete memoir, of which this book is a shortened version, is available from the library of this museum. He also leaves behind in the family archives a collection of poetry, some of it related to war experiences, as well as a tale describing his military journey to Korea. The man had a way with words. Introduction. The military aspects of the story. Doughty's tale is of the 141st Infantry Regiment, 36th Infantry Division, 7th Army. General Mark Clark was its CO in Italy, General Alexander Patch in France, during its campaign in North Africa, 2 invasions of Italy, an invasion of France on the Riviera, its push up the Rhone, crossing the Vosges Mountains into Germany, and finally into Austria during the Second World War. From a letter to the author's grandson, Matt Bunting, dated 26 September 1989, we have the following details about the author's military unit. To give you background on Army structure, then in existence, a division was made up of 3 regiments. In our case, the 141st, 142nd, and 143rd Infantry Regiments comprised our division. There was also a regiment of artillery consisting of 3 battalions of 105 mm howitzers and a 4th battalion of 155 mm guns. The 105s were light artillery and were designated as the 131st, 132nd, and 133rd Field Artillery Battalions. Each of the light battalions was earmarked as a member of a regimental combat team. In other words, the 141st Infantry Regiment and the 131st FA Battalion operated as a combat team. The same applied to the 142nd and the 132nd, etc. The medium artillery 155s were under division control, and later in the war, we had some 8-inch, about 200 mm guns assigned to the division as heavy artillery. These were also under division control. Most of the time, all artillery was under division control and fired en masse from a fire direction center. However, should a mission arise calling for a regimental combat team, we always knew who would operate with us. In addition, each division had an aviation unit attached to the artillery, a medical unit, quartermaster company, engineer battalion, ordnance company, reconnaissance troop, and other units for special services. When we were combat ready and joined by other troops, such as anti-aircraft batteries, armor, chemical mortar outfits, and the like, we numbered in the neighborhood of 18,000 men. The typical regiment is under the command of a colonel, and this one consists of 3 battalions, named, appropriately, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Each battalion consisted of 4 companies. Companies were comprised of platoons, and platoons of squads. In each of those battalions, there was a group of individuals charged with intelligence and reconnaissance, I&R. This group was termed the S2, and, in the 141st, was under the command of the author, Captain Doughty, promoted to major during the campaign. In this book, one will encounter S and G numbers. The S numbers apply to battalion or brigade level functions, while the G numbers apply to corps or division level. The number that follows the letters refers to the organizational function. Thus, very generally, 1 applies to administration, 2 to intelligence, 3 to operations, and 4 to logistics, supplies, etc. There are other numbers, although these are not particularly relevant to this text. The role of I&R people is to learn whatever they can by any means available. Where are enemy strengths, minefields, where are usable roads, etc. The means include individuals going behind it.